I want to talk about cultural practices. It's a term we use in the industry to describe the way we treat our lawn with things like irrigation and mowing that can help or hurt what we're all trying to do here. And it's huge. Irrigation is huge. If you do it wrong or you don't do enough or too much, you can really change what it is we're all doing. First, in the Austin area, you want to do about 1 inch of water per week is what your lawn needs to get if you have Bermuda or Zoysia. What we want to do is, instead of giving it, we don't want to give it 1/5 of an inch 5 times a week. That we want to do it less frequent. So maybe 2 or 3 times a week, ideally, and you want to break that inch down into those. So maybe 1/3 of an inch each time. You want to water sometime around 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. See what works for your family. You don't want to water in the daytime. It's too hot. You'll lose too much of the heat and absorption, evaporation. You want to keep it in the early morning. You don't want to water in the evening either, because then you get a lawn that sits wet all night and you're creating the environment for disease to come in and really start having an impact. You probably want to check your system once in a while. By once in a while, I mean, at least once a year. If you can do it twice a year, great. Check your system. You're going to do an audit. First thing you're going to do is turn your heads on, make sure they're all hitting where they're supposed to hit. But then you can do what's called an audit, and you can do this with a tuna can, a couple tuna cans. You can place them out in an area where the sprinklers are hitting and see how much you get in one cycle. So if you get 1/3 of an inch in one cycle, great. I have to water it 3 times to get my 1 inch, 3 times a week, okay? So that's one way to do an audit. There's a lot of different ways to do it. You can have a professional come out and do it as well. If you need help there, give us a call. We can connect you or give you a few names to work with. Another thing we want to talk about is something called LDS. This really impacts whether or not you get something called localized dry spot. Okay, in the Austin area, a lot of times we have very thin soil and we have a giant rock underneath. Your lawn is right on top of that, so that will heat up in the summer. There's not enough soil to grow enough of a root system to really get through a drought or a tough time, so you end up getting what's called localized dry spot. That area will brown out. You probably know the areas in your lawn that brown out every year. Probably something really big and hard and non-absorbent underneath that area. So in the localized dry spot areas, we can help you with that. We have a few products that we can put down to help those areas retain water, but this is something that we deal with all the time in Austin. Irrigation, it's huge. If you have any questions, again, give us a call. We'll help you out in any way we can.